my name is Shauna Hooper and welcome to my Creative Arts e-portfolio. This video will show you the learning that I undertook these past few weeks in 3 strands of creative arts. It will also show you my personal reflections on how I plan to implement this in my future teaching. So I hope you enjoy my learning journey. First up is visual arts. For this task, I used a tutorial by Karen Hull to draw a detailed eye using coloured pencils. Karen is there in the video with me. She is a coloured pencil artist and also my future mother-in-law. I began first by transferring the line drawing to drafting film. I then started to build layers of colour in the iris. I must have used at least 7 different pencils for this and was sceptical about my ability to pull it off. But I did, and I was so happy with how the layers turned out. Although drafting film is wonderful for coloured pencils, I had to remember to keep my hand light as the film would only allow 4 to 5 layers of colour before it becomes non-receptive. As you can see, by adding a mixture of pale blue and white for highlight, the eye is beginning to look more realistic. I then finalised the details by working on the pink area of the inner eye. This was actually the trickiest part for me. That is, until I got to the end. Let's just say my drawing is now in a better place. Despite popular opinion, everyone can draw, everyone can colour, and everyone can be creative, especially when, in my case, they are shown explicitly how to do it. My personal learning in this visual arts strand links well with AITSL Standard Number 3, Plan for and Implement Effective Teaching and Learning. I believe I succeeded in this task because I was given a set tutorial and set guidelines step by step on how to complete it. Had I just been given the eye and told to draw it and colour it how I saw best, it would have looked completely different and maybe not as good as the end product turned out. That's why I think it's important to challenge students and give them material like this so that they can follow it just as I did and see what they are capable of. Effective learning will happen from here because children are given challenging yet achievable goals that will maybe help them uncover something about themselves and their creative ability that they didn't previously realise. Next is music. In this video, I am taught keyboard basics by a professional singer and also my future sister-in-law, Tash Duarte. After just 1 lesson with her, I walked away with a new vocabulary of words like bass clef and semi-breve, and knew all about keyboard ergonomics. But most importantly, I knew how to identify the notes on a sheet of music. Let's listen now to what I learned. During our initial lessons, my sister-in-law Tash told me that to know music is to know a second language, and I couldn't agree more with this statement. To learn a second language, it takes a lot of perseverance, it takes practice, and it definitely takes a willingness to learn. My own personal learning in this strand links well with standard number 2, know the content and how to teach it. I I can now read music, which is something I couldn't do before, so I definitely feel confident to stand up there in front of a class of students and possibly write down the notes and teach them where they go on the lines and where they go in the spaces and what they all mean. I'm really glad I was given this opportunity to learn an instrument, and I actually want to continue learning the keyboard. Last up is dancing. Using a series of YouTube videos by Terry, Dean and Cindy, my fiance and I learned how to do the waltz. First up was posture and framing. We learned how to properly hold our arms and use our rib cage to complete the movements in the waltz. Next up is the basic pattern known as the box step. We mastered this step pretty easily, and eventually we moved into turning and doing the box step at the same time. Ben thought it would be a good idea to put masking tape on the floor, but eventually he ripped it up because it just got too confusing. And then we were able to continue our box step. Next, we moved into swing and sway. This made the dance feel a little more natural, as what we had learnt so far was quite rigid and basic. It added some much needed texture to the dance. Then we moved into rise and fall. This movement was actually quite tricky, as it felt very unnatural. We had a few spats about it too, which told us we were overthinking it. It's meant to be a romantic dance after all. Finally, we finished with an underarm turn. We brought everything together that we had learnt, but we're very happy to be done with it. We have agreed to stick to swaying at our wedding. Dancing was definitely a lot of fun, especially because I got to do it with my fiancé Ben. However, it did teach me something about differences and how this could have implications for teaching and learning and also future marriages. This is why I feel my learning in this strand links best with AITSL Standard number 1, know students and how they learn. No two students are the same, and that means that their learning styles won't be the same either. So it's important that I encourage and nurture a classroom that is diverse and activities that will cater for these individual needs.